Hi everyone, so I'm looking at the markets right now and there is massive panic that is going on कि यार market बचेगा नहीं 1-2% की fall से खत्म हो जाएगा and all that. See guys, market falling is a part and parcel of the entire investment journey. Please figure out whether you are an investor or a trader. If you're a trader, then don't try to become an investor, and if you're an investor, then behave like an investor. बहुत ही normal होता है 5-7% fall होना, 5-7% fall on index. If we go to small cap, mid cap, the fall can be 2x, 3x more. So be always prepared for a 20% correction in the market. This is a point that I have been making over and over again over the last few months. So on that note, it is very critical that you protect your money. If you are scared of investing in the stock market, be asset diversified. So for example, go to the bond market. I have linked some of my favorite bonds. You can go and check it out. I have also linked something called as market linked debenture, which allows you to hedge your portfolio. So do check out the links in the description and comment box. It will give you more idea. And now let's move over to the main video, which will teach you fundamentals of investing in small cap and why I am continuing to invest in this space despite all the turmoil that is going. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So in the last 1 year, large caps have roughly given around 25% returns. Mid cap, small caps have given roughly 50% return. Micro caps have given roughly 80% returns. And abhi, over the last few months, what has started to happen is that these assets have started to correct somewhat. Thoda bahut correction aaya hai, but there has been a massive panic in the market. Now for context, large caps as of today, when I'm making this video on Thursday, the large caps have corrected by 6%, the mid small caps have corrected by 12%, and micro caps must have corrected by roughly around 25%. So given all this math, यार लोगों ने हल्ला मचाना शुरू कर दिया कि correction आ गया, सब खत्म कहानी. The SEBI chair has come out and said that there is a bubble which is brewing and it is our job to curtail that bubble. So this statement wasn't taken in the right spirit and there was massive mayhem that happened in the market on Wednesday. Now 100 बातों की एक बात, because people are trying to dissect whatever the SEBI chair has said and क्या सच में करेक्शन होना चाहिए नहीं होना चाहिए वगैरह वगैरह बातें. 100 बातों की एक बात, which means that the point in summary is that see, if you are a fundamental investor, you understand if something is truly overvalued or not or undervalued or not. आप मस्ती करोगे, आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, मार्केट गिर रहा है ये वो, right? So it makes my day that during panic days like these, my students are not panicking. So that is the goal that I have as a teacher, and this is the same spirit with which I'm going to shoot this video, that I'm going to help you understand the opportunities in the small cap space, talk about the fact whether it is truly overvalued or is this a great time to buy. Short answer is that it is a great time to buy. I am putting some money in the market, both in direct equities and via mutual fund route. So I will cover that aspect as well. Very humble request that please watch this entire analysis, because आप आधी अधूरी वीडियो देख के चले जाओगे तो आपको समझ नहीं आएगी. If you don't have the time, come back later. This is a serious video. I only do serious videos. But on a side note, here is an important message for my mom, because my mom is going to say कि यार मार्केट 2 दिन गिर गया, तुम देवदास बन गए, तुमने शेविंग करनी छोड़ दी. So that is not the point. I'm just lazy. So I did not get the time to go and buy the razor from the market. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But this was an important video to make. So here I am shooting it. So okay. So let's first and foremost understand whether the small cap, mid cap space right now is overvalued, bubble बन रहा है नहीं बन रहा है. How do we decide it? What is the data that we will look at? So is the small cap, mid cap in a bubble? The short answer is yes, and also the short answer is no. Why am I giving you contradictory response? Because it depends on your time horizon. And let me take you to the small cap story. So what you will see here is that, see, from April of 23, you will see that the total run up in the small cap category, and this is small cap 250, which is an index, the total run up happened to be 82%. Literally in less than a year, इतना run up आ जाए तो of course on a short term perspective the bubble is there. I had covered it in the past. I have covered it on my member community. I had explained it categorically कि यार थोड़ी positions cut कर लेना, and थोड़े टाइम पहले ही बता दी थी ये चीज, but people did not understand it कि नहीं यार बन रहा है पैसा बनने दो and all that stuff. So then what happened? Then came phase 2 कि यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि करीब 15%, 15% correction has already happened. This was roughly an 82% rise. So yes, now the correction has started. This is phase 2 which has taken place. So ये तो हो गई एकदम short term की बात, right? So now what about mid term? So mid term we can define somewhere in like 3 to 5 years range, and a good time to start here will be 2019, क्योंकि 2020 में कोविड हुआ था, तो that was an exceptional year. So उससे पहले का डेटा देख के बात करते हैं कि how is it that based on a 3 to 5 year period, how have the small caps performed? So okay, this data you can also pick from here, and you will see that on a roughly 5 year basis, there has been a 200% increase in the small cap category. अब मैं आपको थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट कर देता हूँ, बिकॉज यू नो वेन एवर वी स्पीक अबाउट कि यार प्राइस इंक्रीज हो गए 20%, 30%, 50%, 100% से, तो लोग है ना, पीपल जस्ट लुक एट द प्राइस ओनली, दे डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द डायनामिक्स बिहाइंड इट और द हिस्टोरिक पैटर्न अराउंड इट. सो ओके, सो देयर आर टू सेंट्रल पॉइंट्स दैट यू नीड टू नो. द फर्स्ट मैथमेटिकल इक्वेशन इज कि अगर आप निफ्टी 50 जो कलेक्शन ऑफ टॉप 50 स्टॉक्स इन इंडिया है, इफ यू लुक एट द रिटर्न्स फॉर दिस, द एवरेज कैगर विल कम आउट टू बी समवेयर अराउंड 12 to 13%. ओके, एंड जो स्मॉल कैप मिड कैप्स जो होते हैं, स्मॉल एंड मिड कैप्स, उनका कैगर CAGR इज ऑलमोस्ट डबल दैट ऑफ निफ्टी 50. एंड ये मैथमेटिकली प्रूवन इक्वेशन है. यू कैन गो एंड टाइम टेस्ट इट, यू कैन डू बैक टेस्टिंग, एंड दिस इज प्रिसाइजली व्हाट यू विल फाइंड. सेकेंड इक्वेशन इज दैट निफ्टी 50 ऑलमोस्ट डबल्स. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल 100 रुपीज पे चल रहा है, तो निफ्टी 50 विल डबल एंड गो टू 200 रुपीज in roughly 4.5 to 5 years. So that math, how does it play out? Well, small cap, mid cap on a 4 to 5 year basis, how much returns they should give? Well, they should give 200%. ये ऊपर वाली linear equation से I have come out with this mathematical formula, so to say. So हम 5 साल का अगर डेटा उठा के देखें right now, then what is the total return that has happened? Well, it comes out to be roughly 200% on a roughly 5 year basis. So this is not a bubble according to me. Now different people can have different opinions. I really respect the SEBI chairman's opinion also on this topic, but I'm an investor. I put my own money. भाई मैं कोई म्यूचुअल फंड चलाता नहीं हूँ. I am just genuinely telling you whatever is happening in the market, how I am looking at it. Now people can differ, but to cut the long story short, that from a mid-term perspective, you can say that okay, the small cap category has given a lot of run up. Absolute short term में तो यहाँ पे तो definitely overvalued है, but from a mid-term perspective, it is not overvalued. One at best could say that this is fairly overvalued, right? So this is an important point that you must understand. Now let me talk about long term. So if we go to long term, and यहाँ पे यार small cap का debut ही जो हुआ था, that happened in like somewhere around 2019, right? So इसका जो data हमें बहुत पुराना मिलेगा नहीं. So we have to go to mid cap category and then do proxying, right? So यहाँ पे if you go and look at the long term data, then you can look at 7 to 10 year window. So 2014 से देखना शुरू करते हैं, right? So let me pull up 2014 and small cap का भी roughly उतना ही return रहेगा, तो यहाँ से देख सकते हैं हम, right? So this is where we were, right? So we must be somewhere here. So 2014 से मैं पूरा data आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, and the total return over the last roughly 10 year basis has been 350% for mid cap category. आप इसमें थोड़ा सा alpha मान लो for small cap category. So this must be a CAGR of roughly like 28-29% के आसपास का, right? So is this overvalued on a long term basis? Again, the short answer is no. This is not overvalued. So भाई जो SEBI chairman है, what is it that she is trying to say? Is she trying to scare the investors about the entire situation that is happening? I don't think that that is the intent with which that statement was given out. People just started reading too much into line, and जब लोगों को नुकसान हो जाता है तो यार they just look for बलि का बकरा टाइप, कि यार कि जो मिल रहा है उसके बारे में बातें करो. See guys, basically what SEBI chairman's viewpoint was that अभी महादेव betting app scam निकल के आया था, उसमें there was approximately 1100 crores of money that was pumped into SMEs, small and medium enterprises, mostly in the small cap and micro cap category. Now this was a scam that recently broke out. Information is still coming in, and इसमें pump and dumping बहुत करी गई है, and this pumping and dumping is happening in a section of small caps. So according to my understanding, what SEBI chair basically tried to communicate was कि यार there is a segment within the small cap category जहाँ पे problems हैं, वहाँ पे bubble बन रहा है, and that is a bubble that we need to control. That is my understanding of whatever was said. So I'm just highlighting it. Now you guys take it the way you want to take it. So चलो, on top of this, let me give you some more comforting data, and let me share two very important PE points, right? Price to earnings point, and इसमें मैं आपको दो data point दिखाता हूँ. This study was done by Edelweiss, and basically what they said was that if you look at the 28th Feb date and 29th Feb 2024, so roughly 2 साल पुराना डेटा है, and what they have done is that they have compared the PE, price to earnings ratio, right? 26.83 was the PE ratio 2 years back in the mid cap category, and in small cap also you can see that the PE was 26-28. So ऐसा बहुत ज़्यादा PE expansion नहीं हो गया है. There has been an EPS expansion in both mid cap and small cap category. In fact, जो stock price की growth आई है, मैं आपको थोड़ा सा back track करके बताता हूँ कि price of a stock goes up because of what? One is कि अगर उसका PE expand हो जाए, या फिर उसका EPS expand हो जाए, या फिर दोनों चीजें हो जाए. So this is literally what the mathematical formula here will be. Basically what this research report is saying कि देखो यार PE एक्सपेंशन नहीं हो गया है स्मॉल कैप एंड मिड कैप का. देयर हैज बीन एन अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ इन स्मॉल कैप एंड मिड कैप कंपनीज. नाउ वेन एवर द स्टॉक प्राइस गोज अप ड्यू टू अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ, दैट इज सस्टेनेबल. Whenever there is a PE expansion of the entire industry, entire market, तब बबल की बातें हम कर सकते हैं, राइट. सो एज ऑफ नाउ देर इज नो इंडिकेटर कि भाई बहुत बड़ा बबल बन गया है इन दिस दैट स्टफ. शॉर्ट टर्म में एब्सोल्युटली येस, जो अभी हम करेक्शन देख रहे हैं, जो मेहम देख रहे हैं, दैट्स अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बाय, एंड देयरफॉर आई एम ऑल्सो बाइंग. टुडे आई रोट अ कम्युनिटी पोस्ट ऑल्सो, एंड अगेन आई कीप ऑन एनकरेजिंग ऑल ऑफ यू गाइज टू चेक आउट माई यूट्यूब मेंबर कम्युनिटी. बहुत अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स है, आप लोगों का बहुत प्यार मिला है उससे, एंड आई वुड encourage all of you, if you are a serious investor, consider joining the member community for 3 months time. You yourself will see a stark difference in the way you invest your own money. It will give you a lot of rational commentary, rational insights. So far the experience of people has been great. I'm just putting up some reviews so you guys can check it out, and accordingly you can make a consideration of joining it. And also the membership fee is like really low, so it's not as if I'm charging like crazy amount or something, so you guys can definitely check it out. So with that said, let's move on to the second picture. And ये थोड़ा सा डेटा मिला है, इसका यार मेरे को सोर्स नहीं मिला, so I cannot really comment on how true this data is. At least I checked for 2024 and 2023, so the data looks reliable, but पुराना डेटा मेरे को इतना मिल नहीं रहा था इस पे, but it looks to be okay, but definitely double check it from your side. So see, basically what this speaks about is that the PE expansion कितना रहा है. For example, अगर आप 2018, 2017 पीरियड देखोगे तो PE जो स्मॉल कैप 50 का रहता था, इट वाज लाइक 120 तक भी पहुंचा हुआ है. अभी तो हाल फिलहाल यार 28, 29 लेवल्स. सो इट्स नॉट एज इफ दैट देयर इज लाइक मैसिव क्रेजीनेस दैट हैज हैपेंड. लास्ट ईयर वी वर बाइंग स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप्स हेवीली, सो दिस इज अ रेंज दैट वी बॉट. सो दिस वाज अ वेरी गुड टाइम टू बाय इट. बट डज दैट मीन कि अभी टाइम खराब है, आपको SIP बिल्कुल बंद कर देनी चाहिए स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप में? नो, इट इज जस्ट दैट कि कुछ स्ट्रक्चरल इशूज हो रहे हैं. आई डोंट नो व्हाई दैट इज बीइंग क्रिएटेड. आई होप दैट दिस एंटायर सिचुएशन गेट्स sorted out quickly. There is no structural problem in small and mid caps. Now let me start bulleting it out why that is the case. But so far I hope that you got the overvaluation part. Ki is small cap, mid cap overvalued, undervalued, fairly valued? You guys make a call. I have shown you all the relevant data, right? So this is point 1. Okay, so that brings us to point number 2, that okay, then why is it that the small cap stocks are falling so aggressively? Okay, so there are 3 reasons for that. One is that there are companies or FIIs more specifically. For example, Singtel, which is one of Singapore's biggest telecom company. अगर आप सिंगापुर जाते हो तो आप मोस्टली सिंगटेल की फोन्स लेते हो, उनकी सिम वगैरह लेते हो. एंड फर्म्स लाइक वर्लपूल फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दे आर कटिंग स्टेक इन द इंडियन मार्केट. सो ये FII सेलिंग होती है, जिसकी वजह से काफ़ी सारी FII सेलिंग is happening in small cap, mid cap category also, and as a result they are losing value. Now you need to ask a natural question कि अच्छा ठीक है यार, FIIs छोड़ छाड़ के जा रहे हैं, तो what quantum of money they are selling in India, कि कितनी बिकवाली कर रहे हैं, and for what reason are they doing it? So मैं आपको दोनों डेटा पॉइंट दिखाता हूँ. तो सबसे पहले बात कर लेते हैं कि how much FIIs are actually selling, and you can find this data here. And you will see that today in March, on March 14th, they sold roughly 1300 करोड़. कल इनने बेचा था 4595 करोड़. Please note that DIIs, domestic institutional investors, this DII tab आप देख सकते हो ऊपर से, these guys are buying. If you look at month wise data, तो आप देखोगे कि यार फरवरी में भी FIIs ने बेचा था, जनवरी में भी बेचा था. नेट बायर्स हैं अभी FIIs इन मार्च, अभी तक का जो डेटा हमें बता रहा है, तो दे आर स्टिल नेट बायर्स सो टू से. एंड आप देखोगे कि दिसंबर में थोड़े से बुलिश थे एंड अभी थोड़े से नेगेटिव हो गए. एंड ये 3 महीने तो पिट के चली चुका है यार, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, राइट. एंड एक चीज़ आपको नोटिस करनी पड़ेगी कि मार्च में क्या होता है कि मार्च में देयर इज अ प्रॉफिट बुकिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी सो टू से, और रीबैलेंसिंग योर पोर्टफोलियो अपॉर्चुनिटी. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपका कैपिटल गेन्स इन इंडिया मान के चलो बनता है 1 करोड़ रुपए की, आपने बहुत अच्छी इन्वेस्टिंग करी पूरे साल, यू हैव मेड 1 करोड़ रुपी. तो अपना पोर्टफोलियो देखोगे एंड यूल से कि यार मेरे पास नहीं फालतू के फुद्दू स्टॉक्स कुछ पड़े हुए हैं, आई हैड बॉट इट, not giving good returns, what should I do? So I will book my losses on that stock and move on, and I will be able to somewhat offset that capital gains I was supposed to pay. This is 100% legal. Many FIIs do it, family offices do it, big ticket investors do it. This is 100% legal, right? And इसकी वजह से मार्च में यूजुअली गिरावट देखी जाती है, right? So this is a very advanced point that I am trying to teach you. Now the important point to note is कि ऐसे कोई भारी भरकम बिकवाली नहीं हो गई है कि बिल्कुल मार्केट क्रैश ही कर जाएगा, सब कुछ खत्म ही हो जाएगा and all that stuff. So please do not worry about that. Now related point is, or a more pertinent question that you need to ask is that okay, why are FIIs selling? Okay. So there are many reasons why FIIs typically sell. One is कि किसी के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा डेट होती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वर्लपूल के ऊपर जो पेरेंट कंपनी है US बेस्ड, उसके ऊपर बहुत डेट है. सो दे हैव कैटेगोरिकली सेड दैट वी आर कटिंग आवर स्टेक इन वर्लपूल ऑफ इंडिया टू ऑफसेट दैट डेट कि हमारे पास इतना लोन हमें अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है तो हमने इसलिए अपना एसेट वैसेट बेच रहे हैं एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू सेटल दैट डेट. सो दिस इज अ लेजिटिमेट रीजन, नो प्रॉब्लम. सेकेंड इज कि बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी आ गई कि चलो इंडिया से पैसा निकालते हैं, राइट, एंड इंडिया में आर ग्रोथ रेट माइट बी लाइक 10% ऑन द पोर्टफोलियो. इफ वी पुल मनी आउट ऑफ इंडिया, स्टार्ट अ न्यू बिजनेस, मे बी वी कैन grow it at 15%. So this is called as finding better reinvestment opportunity. Now this is something that Singtel is doing. Okay, so again this is a legitimate reason. Third point is valuation. जैसे कि for example मैंने last वीडियो बनाया था, I think 2 वीडियो पहले बनाया था, जिसमें I spoke about the fact कि बेजोस जो है वो अपना स्टॉक बेच रहे हैं. Similarly यह मार्क जकरबर्ग who is selling Meta. तो काफ़ी ये बड़े बड़े खिलाड़ी लोग दे आर सेलिंग देयर ओन स्टेक इन द कंपनी. वाई इज दैट? बिकॉज उनको पता है कि उनका स्टॉक यार थोड़ा भी है ना ओवर हीटेड जोन में जा चुका है, गिर जाएगा तो वापस खरीद लेंगे, राइट. अभी तो हाल फिलहाल बेच दो, देन देखी जाएगी क्या होना है. अब आप बोलोगे कि अच्छा आप लांछन लगा रहे हो ऑन लाइक जेफ बेजोस एंड व्हाट नॉट. नो, आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू डू दैट. थिंक अबाउट इट रैशनली, राइट. दीज आर कंपनीज दैट आर सेटिंग ऑन मैसिव बैलेंस शीट. बहुत सारा फ्री कैश फ्लोस ऑलरेडी उनके पास है, बैलेंस शीट एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग है, डेट दे डोंट हैव टू रीपे एनी मच. दे वन कुड आर्ग्यू हैव बेटर री इन्वेस्टमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज, बट इवन दोज कैन बी प्रिटी मच attained by investing the existing money that they already have. So they don't need to cut their stake, but they are cutting their stake for valuation. So ऐसा कुछ अभी इंडिया में हो रहा है? मेरे को तो नहीं लग रहा कि यार ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है. Now the second key point that you need to understand is regarding profit booking कि भाई profit booking तो नहीं हो रही in the Indian market. So मैंने आपको बताया कि short term में the small cap, mid caps looks heated. It made sense to book profits if you're a short term investor, so to say. Okay, so this is definitely happening and especially given the March closing, so to say, ये और भी थोड़ी सी एक्सेलरेट हो जाती है. थर्ड थिंग इज द स्ट्रक्चरल इशू. यार ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आया कि वाई सो मच पैनिक हैज़ बीन क्रिएटेड. जैसे बबल वाला स्टेटमेंट आ गया, राइट. सो दैट वाज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ पैनिक सिचुएशन. म्यूचुअल फंड्स हैव बीन इंस्ट्रक्टेड not to take, or many mutual funds have been instructed not to take lump sum in small cap mid caps. अब यार आप खुद ही सोच के देखो कि if the lump sum is stopped in small cap mid cap category, so the supply of funds is going to shrink, right? It is going to come down, and if the supply of fund to small cap mid cap category goes down, then resultantly not so much money will be able to immediately flow into the stock market. So ये तो structural reasons हो गए. I don't know what why these were created, but इसकी वजह से definitely panic हो गया है. But it's not a thing कि you know अब जिंदगी भर ही चलता रहेगा that you know mutual funds can only take money in small caps in SIP format. No, it's not going to happen. This decision might get reversed in another 2-3 months or whenever the bubble, so to say, settles. So then comes the natural question कि आपने क्या करना है. तो I have like 4-5 key points that you can act upon, and tomorrow I'm going to write a detailed commentary, or starting tomorrow I will start giving more details about these small cap, mid cap investments that I'm making. I'll give you detailed viewpoint on that. This is not a recommendation कि आप भी ऐसे जाके कर लो. It will just simply help you understand more, and it will give you one perspective in the market. Okay. So here are a few key things that I will try to highlight. Number 1 point, please stop panicking. Please stop tracking the news all day. It is much better not to watch any news. You will become more knowledgeable not by watching anything rather than watching the news. It is just complete BS. Okay, so please do not keep tracking the market all day. You have better use of your time. Okay, so that's one. It will help you avoid panic, FOMO. Number 2 thing, if you are sitting on a loss on small cap, mid cap, अगर आपने बिल्कुल ही मतलब हाई फाई उसमें खरीद रखे हैं, तो you can consider doing downward averaging right now. इफ़ यू आर ऑन प्रॉफिट्स ऑलरेडी, आप थोड़ा सा वेट कर लो, थोड़ा सा कंसोलिडेशन पे खरीद लेना. कंसोलिडेशन मतलब कि थोड़ा सा सेटल हो जान दो, राइट, एंड देन यू कैन बाय इट. इट्स ओके, लेट द मार्केट रन अप बाय 5% और स्मॉल कैप कैटेगरी रन अप बाय 5%, राइट. आप थोड़ा सा विजन तो रखो. इफ यू से दैट ओके आई एम अ लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर, शुड आई कंटिन्यू माई SIPs? 100% yes. Okay, markets from a mid-term, long-term perspective as of now for small cap category, at least to me, does not look overvalued. I have explained you the rationale. Again, please listen to other people's viewpoint also and reach your own conclusion. Now, let me talk about the fundamental thesis as to why the small cap, mid caps will grow from this stage. Number 1, there will be an interest rate cut. वो तो सभी को बेनिफिट करेंगे, लार्ज कैप, स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप्स. बट अभी होगा क्या कि एज द इंटरेस्ट रेट गेट कट, वट एवर द न्यू डेट दैट विल बी इशूड, it will become easier for small cap, mid caps to borrow. Large caps के लिए तो वैसे भी आसान रहता है. This will propel the mid cap, small cap category more. That's part A. Part B is that there will be more mergers and acquisition activity that will undertake in the mid cap, small cap segment. आप ऐसे मान के चलो कि जब interest rate settle हो जाने चाहिए, right, after 2 to 3 years. Now that is where major chunk of M&A activity might pick if the economy seems to be okay. Lot of dynamics will go into that. But to cut the long story short, big companies are going to buy smaller middle players who survived this turmoil. And I think there have been a bunch of good small cap, mid cap companies that have been able to survive this turmoil. So I still feel that small cap, mid cap category is going to generate a lot of returns for investors. You just need to be sensible, which brings me to the final point. Please pick companies in the small cap, mid cap categories that are growing their revenues, that are in an industry that is growing, that has been able to handle its debt really well. प्लीज डू नॉट गो बाय स्टॉक रिकमेंडेशंस कि भाई इसने फलाना ढिमका ने ये चीज़ बोल दी तो हमने वो जस्ट स्टॉक जाके खरीद लिया. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दीज बेसिक पॉइंट्स. इट्स गोइंग टू बी एब्सोल्युटली क्रिटिकल. नाउ अगर आपको ये सब कुछ समझ में नहीं आए एंड आपको स्टिल यू वांट टू इन्वेस्ट बट यू आर लिटिल बिट स्कैर्ड, देन द सेफेस्ट एसेट सो टू से जिसमें आपको थोड़ी सी बेनिफिट मिल सकता है इज फ्लेक्सी कैप फंड. सो यू कैन गो एंड बाय फ्लेक्सी कैप राइट नाउ. सो आपको एडवांटेज भी मिल जाएगा उसमें, क्योंकि जो स्मॉल कैप में पैसा लगा होगा दैट विल ग्रो एट अ फास्टर रेट सो टू से. And whenever the circumstances are better, then I'm sure that mutual fund managers will also switch to a better segment of growth. So on that note, now I wanted to discuss specific small cap, mid cap stocks, but unfortunately I have run out of time. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a part 2 of this video, or I'm going to start giving commentary from tomorrow. So with that said, I'll close out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do press the like button and I'll see you soon.